welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be starting yet another reading vlog, and I am very excited about this one because today I'm going to be doing a very Halloween-y type of reading vlog. I have a lot of spooky things I want to do. I have quite a few spooky books that I would like to read, so I hope you guys are excited. I should also be posting this video on the week of Halloween, so I hope you are all in a very spooky mood. Hope you're all having an amazing October so far. So yeah, let me just get into talking about my little TBR that I have for the week. And then, I also do have a small haul of some Halloween things that I picked up yesterday from Joann's. So I'll do that really fast and then we will get into this video. So first we're going to talk about my reading plans, of which I do have quite a few because duh. So first up we have The Haunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates. This is another Darcy Coates haunted house book type of situation. I read The Haunting of Ashburn House, also by Darcy Coates, last month, and I really enjoyed the kind of vibes. I really liked the spooky atmosphere in it, so I'm hoping this one will also kind of, you know, scare me like a little bit, but not too much. But I think it'll still be really fun. I think this one is following our main character Mara, whose parents were spiritualists, but she's always been a skeptic. So when her and her fiance move into a new house and they start to maybe think it's inhabited by ghosts, obviously, maybe she won't be a skeptic anymore. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Then I have a new release that I've been seeing a couple of people talk about and really enjoy, and that is A Dark and Secret Magic by Wallace Kinney. First of all, look at how stunning this cover is. Like, it's so beautiful. I love the pumpkins. I love the little black cat. I love the book on it. I've heard this described as kind of a love letter to Halloween, and as somebody who is obviously a Halloween fanatic, that sounds like something I need to check out. I'm pretty sure we're following our main character, who is a witch. I think she maybe discovers a book of magic. I think they're throwing a Halloween festival thing. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, honestly, but I've heard good things. I think this will be perfect for the time leading up to Halloween, so I'll probably save this for a little bit later in the vlog, but I cannot wait to get to it. And then I definitely have more of a creepy, spooky kind of pick for the week, and that is Slewfoot by Brom. Again, this is a book that I've seen so many people read, and so many people love it, so I'm really hoping I'm one of those people. Basically, this takes place in like 1600s colonial America. We're dealing with the devil, witches, the whole shebang, really. And I cannot wait to get into this one. I know it has some very creepy illustrations throughout it. I mean, look at this. I still have this upside down in the dust jacket. I noticed in my like autumn reset video that this was upside down in the dust jacket, but I never fixed it apparently. But this book has, you know, just very stunning illustrations, but they do instill some fear. Not like a lot of fear, but like a little bit. So yeah, I cannot wait to get to this one. Ooh, they even have chapter headings. Like, look at that. I can't wait to get into this one. I think this will also be the perfect pick for like closer to Halloween. And then I do have a reread. I told myself in one of my last vlogs I was going to stop rereading things in October because I think I've reread like 4 books or something this month. Too many, honestly. But then I remembered that I haven't read this short story yet this season, and this is, again, something I have to read every fall. I feel like there are just so many things that I love to reread and rewatch in fall. I just feel like it's so cozy to me to revisit my favorite things in the fall time. So I'm making an exception because it is not fall, it is not Halloween, until I have read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. I absolutely love the autumnal descriptions in this book. It takes place in Sleepy Hollow, New York. It's got gorgeous foliage, it's talking about the harvest, it's talking about, I was gonna say the trees, but we already covered that. But just trust me, the writing is so stunning because it's got that like very, you know, old worldy classic type of writing to it, but it's like all autumn imagery and whatnot. So like I eat that up and I love it. I also do just enjoy the story because obviously you're following Ichabod Crane, who moves into this new town. He kind of makes some enemies. He finds out about a local legend and good stuff ensues, honestly. Also, this story is so short. Obviously this is a very large book, but I think The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is only about 30 pages maybe, so I can't wait to get into it, even just like flipping back through it. I also annotated it, so I do love reading my annotations as well. Like, I'm so excited. And then lastly, I do have a book that I don't know if I'm going to be finishing or not, but I definitely want to like read a decent chunk of it in this video, and that is Trick or Treat: A History of Halloween by Lisa Morton. I started this book in my Summerween reading vlog, obviously because that is like celebrating Halloween, and I was like, what a perfect time to read a nonfiction book about Halloween. But do you know what an even better time to read a nonfiction book about Halloween is? Like actual Halloween. So I will be reading a little bit of this. I made it up to page 30, when I read it the first time. So I hope to, you know, just read some more of it. It's got pictures, it's got a bunch of just interesting information. As somebody who loves Halloween, I feel like I don't know a lot about it, so I need to remedy that. I think the first chapter kind of went over the origins of Halloween, and I think we're going to kind of just continue to do so. So I can't wait to read some more of this as well. So yes, here are my reading plans for the week. Honestly, like, it's a little crazy, but it's not that bad. I am very, very excited about all of these, and as I said, I have been saving these for this video specifically, so hopefully I will love them all. But as I also said in the little intro to this video, I went to Joann's yesterday and I wanted to show you the couple of things that I picked up because they put all their Halloween stuff on clearance, which makes me sad because we're not even 2/3 of the way through October yet as I'm filming this. But like, everywhere I've gone is putting their Halloween stuff on clearance. I'm like, guys, we still have like 2 weeks, what's going on? But I digress, because it did allow me to get some good deals on some stuff that I've been looking at but haven't wanted to buy yet. I only got 2 things. I decided to not go crazy, but I did get these little ghost candles because I think they're super cute. I think I'm actually gonna burn these a lot of the time when I get like cool, like not normal candle looking candles. I don't like to burn them, but I think I do want to burn these because I think that'd be kind of, I mean, it is what you're supposed to do with candles, so, you know. But then the thing that I'm most excited about is I got this pillow, and I normally don't like buying the pillows from Joann's because they are expensive and I don't want to spend the money for it. But I've had my eye on this one, and when I saw it was like 60% off, I was drawn to it. I was like, I need to get it. And it's this really cool bat pillow. Like, it's so uncomfortable, honestly. Like, this material, I don't exactly know what you would call like this stitching that's on the front of it, but I just thought he was so cute. I love anything with a bat motif, so I had to pick it up. It was only $16, which I feel like is honestly kind of a good deal for a pillow. So yeah, he is now gracing my life and gracing my chair. Anyway, I think those are all of the things that I was wanting to share with you guys in this little intro clip. I'm so excited to get into this video. I'm hoping to go visit some of my favorite spooky places. I want to go on some autumnal walks. I want to watch some spooky things. I'm going to read some spooky books. I'm just going to have a cozy week. So I hope you guys are excited. So let us just get into it. First, what should I read first? I don't know. I'm thinking I probably want to pick up Slewfoot first because I know I want to save A Dark and Secret Magic for the latter half of this vlog, so it's even closer to Halloween, but I definitely feel like I could get into some horror, whatever is going on in this book right now. So I'm now going to stop yapping, I'm gonna start reading, so let's get into the video. Good evening. From me and my really stubby little candle. This thing is gonna burn out so quickly, I can just feel it, but I had to get in a candlelit update before that happened. So yes, it's quite a bit later. It's like 11 p.m. now, but I have been, you know, doing some stuff today. I've read quite a bit of Slewfoot, so we'll talk about that. I also went on a little bit of an autumnal walk earlier, which was so lovely. I must say though, not enough trees have been turning yet, so I went on a quest for a beautiful orange tree, and I did find one, and it did bring me substantial happiness. But I definitely think there are a lot of trees around me that are on the cusp of looking stunning. So hopefully by the time I finish this vlog, like next week, we'll have some lovely foliage to look at, you know? We'll see. I'm keeping my eye on it. Anyway, I've been spending kind of the entire day just like reading. I also took a nap earlier, which is really nice, but aside from that, I've just been doing some reading and I have made quite a bit of progress in Slewfoot. I've also been snacking on some Smarties, which are a top tier Halloween candy. Honestly, I love Smarties. This is my Smartie wrapper collection. I was gonna say we don't have to talk about it, but I literally pointed it out, so we are talking about it. But Smarties are delicious, honestly. I've stolen a lot of the stuff out of my parents' Halloween candy that I'm supposed to be saving for the trick-or-treaters, but I want a little snack. And they're so good. I would love to know down below, what is your favorite, like, classic Halloween, you get it in your trick-or-treat bag kind of candy? Because I love Smarties. I also love the, like, Sour Punch straws that you get in like they're so short, they're so small, but they're so good. My least favorite, easily Milk Duds or Whoppers. I just remember the immense disappointment I felt as a child when I got a box of Milk Duds or a package of Whoppers. Also, obviously me and my brothers did a little bit of candy trading, some bartering when we got back from a long night of trick-or-treating, and they didn't like Milk Duds or Whoppers either, so I was like, what do I do with these? I think I ended up throwing them out because they're not good. That's a whole tangent. Anyway, let's talk about Slewfoot because I have read quite a bit of this so far. I'm about a third of the way through it. I'm on page 100 and I am thoroughly enjoying it so far. I honestly feel like this is the perfect book for late October. It has all of the creepy, eerie, witchy, devilry vibes going on to it. And I feel like the prose 100% accentuates the kind of darker atmosphere that this book has, and it is so good so far. So basically, let me give you a little what this is about. We are set in 1666 Connecticut. It's in this small, very Puritan village, and we are following our main character, Abatha. I'm probably gonna call her Abby just because it's a bit shorter and a bit easier. But she moved to this village 2 years ago when her father literally sold her to, I don't know if he exactly sold her to her husband. He might have like sold her to just the colonies in general. I don't know. I think like they really needed wives over there. So her father was just like, yeah, you can have my child. Okay. So she got off the boat from England. She immediately married this 27-year-old man when she was like 17, which is atrocious, obviously. And she's been living in this very small, very strict village ever since. She's married to this guy named Edward, and honestly, I liked Edward. I thought he was, you know, like not great by today's standards. But by 1666 standards, I thought he was pretty decent. He wasn't crazy like everybody else. I liked him. So I was really sad when he died on page like 50, which by the way is not a spoiler. It is in the blurb for this book. It says that Abatha is recently widowed, and I think that's like the whole point of the story, so do not fret. I'm not just randomly spoiling things. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before all of that happened, we were kind of introduced to I'd say he's kind of the main antagonist of this book, even though we are dealing with the literal devil, and his name is Wallace. He is Edward's brother, and at the very beginning of this book, he shows up at Abby and Edward's house. He's eating all of their food, he's being awful, and then he just like drops this piece of news. For context for this, when Edward and Wallace's father died, he left both of the farms I think that they had to Wallace because he is the older brother, and Edward has been slowly buying one of the farms from Wallace. Like he's almost paid it off. He's got like one payment left. So Wallace came to their house one day and he was like, hey guys, like really sorry about this, but I made a bad business move. And instead of putting my own farm up for collateral, I decided to put up yours instead. So you're gonna lose your farm, like sorry about that. And Edward, I don't really think he's a great businessman, you know, he seems nice and all, but I don't really think he's business savvy. I think Abby's definitely very business savvy, but in this whole society, I think they said it was like actually illegal for women to be involved in like business type affairs. So she so desperately wants to get involved in this situation because she is the more capable one out of the two of them to kind of deal with this injustice that has been dealt to them. But she physically can't, and it is like killing her. So she's kind of, you know, trying to navigate the situation, not overstep so she doesn't get thrown in the stocks, basically. Like they will throw the women in the stocks for anything in this society. It's crazy, which, like, obviously I knew that going in, but like seeing it kind of exemplified in this book in this way is just, it's just crazy. Basically, like, women have no rights. Like, they can be wives and they can be mothers. If they want to do anything else, though, that's not very godly of them, you know? So yeah, we're kind of just seeing Abby deal with this whole society that she doesn't really subscribe to. She definitely pushes back a lot on a lot of the, like, societal rules that are put in place for women, which obviously I love her for, but like nobody in the village is very happy that she's doing this, so she's very much an outcast. And then after Edward dies, she kind of loses her only line of credibility, basically, so like nobody likes her really. So I think this is kind of where we're going to get into the more sinister side of things, because while we've been dealing with Abby's whole story and kind of seeing her navigate this very restrictive and uptight kind of society that she isn't necessarily used to, we are also kind of getting the point of view from the literal devil himself, you know? And in that point of view, I think he's kind of like waking up after he's been weak for a really long time. There are these weird little, like, physical embodiments of, like, the forest and the air trying to get him to kill people, basically, so he can regain strength to protect this tree thing. I gotta show you one of the illustrations for these weird little things, though, because they are terrifying. And I love it, but also, it really is terrifying. Look at this. Look at these things. Like, I don't like it. But I think Abby is kind of going to come into contact with the devil in a way. So far, we have seen her dabble a little bit in witchcraft. She hasn't really gone into it a whole lot, but we have gotten a couple of kind of bits of information about her mother and her mother's mothers and how they would always partake in the, like, cunning art, I think is kind of the term that they're using for witchcraft so far. So I think her and Slewfoot, maybe they have a companionship of some sort. I'm not exactly sure. But like both of them are kind of at odds with this village, obviously because one of them is literally the devil himself. But I'm just quite interested to see how their points of view are going to overlap. So I'm very excited to read some more of this. I definitely think I want to finish this book up tomorrow just because I'm so intrigued. And I'm just thoroughly enjoying this book overall so far. Like I said earlier, it's got the perfect, eerie, sinister kind of vibes for this time of year. I haven't found it to be very scary yet. There are definitely some grotesque descriptions, but I don't really think those bother me. There has been a lot of discussion of spiders as well, so if you're not into that, maybe don't pick this up. But nothing crazy so far, but I'm sure as the story progresses, it's just going to devolve into maybe some insanity. I don't know. Because I definitely think there are a couple of people in this book that Abby may be taking revenge on later down the line, which I'm just so interested to see how the rest of this book is gonna go. So I'm going to probably go to sleep after this update because I'm kind of tired. But tomorrow I'm going to get into reading some more of this. I think also tomorrow I might do a little bit of a journal update in my Hobonichi because it's been a minute since I've done that. I'm also thinking I might carve a pumpkin tomorrow. Now I know I've already carved one this year. I did them with Cass when she was here a couple weeks ago, but I think we carved them too early because it's been like kind of hot here, not like crazy, but like hotter than it normally is in October. And both of the pumpkins that we carved, they're just like desiccated, sad little things. I threw them away a couple days ago because they were just rotting. So I need to carve another pumpkin, obviously. And in my mind, you can never carve too many pumpkins. I saw a couple of things on Pinterest that I might try out. They're gonna be pretty basic, but I just thought it would be kind of fun, obviously. So I might do that, but those are the only plans that I have for tomorrow. So I'm going to go and I will chat to you guys when I've done some more things. Alright, so it is currently Monday morning. It is a couple of days since I've updated the vlog, but I have done a couple of fun things since I last talked to you. I updated my hobonichi, I carved a pumpkin, which like kind of went well. Initially I had a different idea for what I wanted to do for it, but I think I just vastly underestimated the amount of work it would actually take me to get to where I wanted to go with it. So halfway through I pivoted and I just did a very basic jack-o'-lantern face, but it gets the job done and I'm happy with it. Hopefully it'll hang on until Halloween. I will be very sad if that one also kind of just craps out on me before the big day, but you know, that was still fun. And we'll see. Anyway, I do have some reading updates for you because I have finished Slewfoot. I have started another book, so let's chat about it. First of all, let's talk about Slewfoot. I ended up doing a bunch of reading sprints with my patrons yesterday, which were so fun. And I read like the majority of this book on those. And I really, really loved this book. I loved the ending. Obviously, how could you not? I feel like it is one of the most satisfying conclusions to a story that I've read in a while. Because I think this book does a really good job at like slowly escalating the situation and slowly introducing more characters and slowly pulling more people into this just web of corruption that's going on with the Puritans. So when you finally get to the end and you've been like building this tension, like you know it's coming. You're literally told that this situation happens on the very first page of the book. So when you actually get to it, you're just like, yeah. Like I support women's rights as well as women's wrongs. And I really liked that you got a lot of gory descriptions and kind of like everybody that you thought was going to get their comeuppance definitely did. I just really liked that our two main characters also showed some mercy to some people that were in the village who didn't necessarily deserve it. But all of that kind of pertains to the end of the book, which was just absolute chaos, honestly. But I just really liked the book overall. I think literally right after I talked to you and like gave you my first update, we kind of got more into the dynamic between the devil and Abatha, which I thought was fascinating to follow, honestly, because it was never like a romantic thing, but you could definitely tell that they deeply cared about each other, and I just really enjoyed watching their relationship kind of develop and change over the course of the book. I also enjoyed the obvious commentary on like, you know, what Puritan life was like, how corrupt a lot of the church leaders tend to be, and how ironic a lot of their actions really are because they're doing all of these things like in the name of God when they're like the most ungodly acts that you've ever seen. You just have all these men that are so upset that a woman is succeeding and like making a life for herself that they literally feel the need to accuse her of witchcraft and, you know, kill her in the most brutal way possible. So to see them be like, this is what God would have wanted. I'm like, are you sure about that? Like, I don't think so, buddy. And the fact that, you know, obviously this is not real, but the witch trials, you know, they did really happen, and a lot of women actually had to face things like this in their life. A lot of women were killed just because they didn't have enough power back in that time to stop it from happening to them. So the fact that this book had such a satisfying ending to it, it was needed, honestly. It wouldn't have felt right if the book ended in any other way, you know what I'm saying? But this was just the perfect read for October. I don't think it's like a favorite book or anything. I don't think I would rate it 5 stars, but it's like almost a 5-star. I just feel like this book had the perfect like eerie, kind of creeping, haunting atmosphere to it. Like, you know something bad is coming and you can see it coming and you're just kind of like waiting for the ball to drop, and when it does, you're like, yeah, deserved. So yeah, I just thoroughly enjoyed Slewfoot. I'm very happy that I waited until kind of the end of October to pick it up, and if you want a spooky book for Halloween, because I think I'm posting this video a few days before Halloween, I would recommend Slewfoot. It just has a lot of interesting commentary on, you know, Puritanism versus paganism? Is that how you would say that? And I really liked how Abatha interacted with both of those concepts because she didn't necessarily forsake one for the other. She kind of had room for both in her life, but the Puritans, they didn't like that. But anyway, yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed Slewfoot. But I have also briefly started another book because I did get into The Haunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates a little bit, meaning I'm like 36 pages into it. Nope, 37. Look at that. I'm on chapter 6. Basically, not a lot has happened so far. We are very much still in the setup part of the book, but we're following Mara and her boyfriend Neil. Mara is looking for a new place to live and she wants to buy a house, but she doesn't really have like a ton of money. And the place that she was originally going to go see one day kind of fell through because somebody already bought it. But then her real estate agent was like, well, I do have this one place. It's like very below your budget, but like, I'm just gonna let you know, like, a serial killer lived here. And Mara, whose parents were spiritualists, so she has spent her entire life with her parents, like, believing in ghosts and not taking her to see, like, normal doctors and, like, stuff like that. Like, it's just insane, honestly. So when she hears this real estate agent, like, you know, divulging that, you know, people were killed in this house and, like, it might be haunted, she's like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna buy this house, which I understand why Mara is so indignant about it and why she's acting this way. I think it's a really good setup for, like, why somebody would buy a haunted house, because a lot of the time in these books, you're just like, why would you even entertain the idea of, like, buying this house that somebody told you was haunted and, like, really bad things have happened in? But I feel like Mara has, like, a legit reason for why she just doesn't care, and I like that. But nothing crazy has happened yet. Literally all they have done is, like, tour the property. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where this is gonna go. I feel like it's gonna have a solid atmosphere to it. So yeah, those are my couple of, you know, reading updates for you. I'm thinking I don't have a lot of plans for today. Probably just gonna do some reading. Probably gonna read a little bit of Trick or Treat: A History of Halloween, just because if I don't start reading it now, I probably won't start reading it, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm probably just gonna read, like, a little bit of it today, maybe like a chapter. Oh no, maybe not a chapter, because these are long chapters. I'll read some of chapter 2, shall we say. So these are my couple of reading plans for today. Should be a pretty chill Monday. So solid start to the week. Hello and good morning, everybody. It is currently Tuesday morning at about 8 o'clock, but I'm going to do something fun this morning, so I thought I would give you a quick update before I go do that. But I'm going to one of my favorite places, and that is the stunning Victorian mansion that is like a couple towns away from where I live, and I love that place so much. It's so beautiful. It's so perfect to visit this time of year. It's got gorgeous trees. Also, I looked up some information about it for you guys. I already knew these things, but I wanted to double check that these were correct. But if you want to know, the house was built in 1881, I believe, so stunning Victorian mansion, you already know. It was initially built by somebody to live in, naturally. Then it became a sanatorium for a little bit, then it became a nursing home, and now it's just like a historic site that they do tours of, and I'm so excited because I'm going on a tour of this place this weekend, which should be so interesting because I don't think I've ever been inside. I've seen the outside of it a bunch of times, obviously, but I've never been inside and I'm so excited. So that'll be fun. I'm not like, that's not gonna be in this vlog, but I thought I'd bring it up. So I figured I would go there this morning, do a little bit of reading, just, you know, appreciating the fall weather. Let me give you also, before we go, an update on The Haunting of Blackwood House, because I've made a lot of progress in this book. I'm currently on page 206. And here's the thing, I'm liking it. I like the story. I'm entertained. It's not like my favorite thing ever, but I want to know what's up with this house, you know? But my main issue with this book is our main character, Mara, because she kind of sucks. Like, I understand where she's coming from on a lot of things, but I feel like it's just overdone with her a lot of the time, because her main issue is that all of these people are telling her that this house is haunted and that she needs to move out because really awful things happened in this place. But she's like, I don't believe in ghosts, so like, I can't let them win. I can't move out of this house. Like, she literally said she can't let all of these people telling her to move out win. I'm like, do you understand how stupid that is? Like, they have unearthed so much information about all of the atrocious things that have happened to like every single family or couple or whatever that has moved into this house. She's like, there are logical explanations for that. I'm like, stop being stubborn. Like, she is the most stubborn main character ever. Like, I understand it. Like, I understand why she acts the way that she acts, because her parents were spiritualists and she's gone through a lot of like ridiculous things in her life due to that fact. So obviously she's very vehement in the fact that she does not believe in ghosts, but also that doesn't give her a pass to just be an awful person, because she has yelled at multiple strangers when they've tried to tell her things about this house. She's really mean to her boyfriend Neil. He is trying to help her. Like, he wants the best for her. Like, he's really concerned about her being alone in this house where a bunch of people have been murdered and they're like serial killers. And like, current day, as Mara is in the house, she hears footsteps in the attic and she's like, oh yeah, like, it's fine. I'm like, what do you mean it's fine? And like, multiple times when she's been walking around, some of the doors open, like especially the basement door. I was like, absolutely not. Like, if my basement door just opened on its own, I'd be moving out. Like, I wouldn't even have to see anything. I wouldn't even have to like physically with my own eyes witness any ghostly happenings. If that door opened on its own, I'm out. But Mara's like, oh yeah, it's just a gust of wind. I'm like, in the basement? And initially I liked the fact that her vehemence towards the fact that ghosts don't exist was a legitimate reason as to why she moved into this house, despite all the things she had heard about it. But now I feel like we're just talking about it all the time. I feel like it's kind of repetitive in that nature. But she's honestly my only issue with the book. Like, the rest of it I'm enjoying. I like it. It's a solid haunted house story, you know. I wasn't really expecting a lot from it, but Mara gets on my nerves. And I feel like she might continue to get on my nerves, but we'll see, we'll see. I'm probably gonna finish this up today, so we certainly will see. Oh, I also do like that this house, like itself, it's almost being personified in the way that they talk about it, which I love. Like, any house that kind of, even if it's not sentient, if it's kind of talked about in a way that makes it seem sentient and like sinister, I love stuff like that. Because it seems like every family that has moved into this house has like gone crazy, or like has done crazy things, or, you know, has turned, I don't know if, actually I don't know how that worked. I don't know if the serial killer that was there was a serial killer to start with, or if he moved in and then became a serial killer, I don't know. But I love stuff like that. Like an evil house, big fan. Anyway, that's kind of my update on The Haunting of Blackwood House for now. It is fine. I'll definitely finish it today. But let us go to my favorite spooky place and do a little bit of reading this morning. So it is a couple of days later, but many exciting things have happened since the last time that I talked to you, and obviously we need to chat about them, so this might be a bit of a lengthy update. So first of all, biggest thing that happened yesterday, we need to talk about it. I hit 100,000 subscribers yesterday. Which is honestly so insane. Like, saying it out loud, it doesn't feel real, and I'm not sure if it's ever gonna feel real, but it is unbelievably cool. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to literally all of you. Starting this YouTube channel was honestly the best thing that I've ever done. I never expected it to really go anywhere, but I'm so grateful that it has, and there are so many of you. I absolutely love being able to chat with so many of you guys in the comments, and seeing familiar faces pop up is honestly one of my favorite things. And also, I've made so many amazing friends thanks to me starting this YouTube channel. Like, imagine if I had never made this channel, I never would have met Cass, like my favorite person. So I just can't believe that this has happened, but I just wanted to take a second out of this video to thank you all so much for subscribing and being here. I'm just so happy. So happy. Also, it does feel kind of stunning that it happened in October. I was like, what a better time to hit such an exciting milestone than in my favorite month of the year. So it's all thanks to you guys. It really is. But I will stop gushing. I mean, I'm not gonna stop gushing, but like in this update, I will stop gushing. So yeah, just again, thank you so much. I appreciate you all truly more than you could ever know. The fact that this is now my life and I can do this and I love it so much is absolutely crazy. So yeah, but moving on to updates that'll probably pale in comparison. But obviously a couple days ago I did go to my favorite beautiful Gothic Victorian mansion. It was so stunning. The leaves are turning, they look so beautiful, they complement the house so nicely. They have these two rows of trees that like run parallel to each other, and they were turning orange, and it was, I was so happy. I was so happy in that moment, just walking through the rows of beautiful orange trees. Like, I used to never appreciate the leaves. I don't know why, because now every time I leave the house, I'm like, oh, look at that tree. Look at that tree. Oh my god, look at that tree. But I also did do a little bit of reading while I was there because I read a little bit of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I still have not finished this yet, but I will just like finish this probably today. I don't know. I think I have like 6 pages left or something, but I will be finishing this up today at some point in time. But I have been absolutely loving my reread of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It is like the quintessential fall Halloween spooky story. It's not for everybody. I feel like a lot of people that I've seen read it don't really like it, and I'm not gonna tell you the story is like my favorite thing, because honestly the whole like setup of Brahm, Katrina, and Ichabod I don't care about. My favorite part of this book is the fall descriptions, because they are stunning and so abundant. Like, there's so many of them in here and I just love them so much, so I want to read some. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear them, but I'm gonna do it anyway. This is my personal favorite. It says, however wide awake they may have been before they entered that sleepy region, they are sure in a little time to inhale the witching influence of the air and begin to grow imaginative, to dream dreams and see apparitions. I've definitely read that in a vlog before, but I just love it. Like, every time I read it, I'm like, oh, imagine writing that. This is another one of my favorites. It says, certain it is, the place still continues under the sway of some witching power that holds a spell over the minds of the good people, causing them to walk in a continual reverie. They are given to all kinds of marvelous beliefs, are subject to trances and visions, and frequently see strange sights and hear music and voices in the air. The whole neighborhood abounds with local tales, haunted spots, and twilight superstitions. Stars shoot and meteors glare oftener across the valley than in any other part of the country. Doesn't that, like, oh, I want to live there. I want to live there. Like, not actually, because obviously it would not have such stunning vibes as this book is making you think it would. But I want to live in this, like, fictional account of Sleepy Hollow so desperately, because it does actually exist. I would like to visit there one day. But I want to live in, like, this Sleepy Hollow, you know what I'm saying? I just love the descriptions. Like, it sounds so spooky, and I just want to live in a spooky town. Also, something I just find funny about this story is that it goes into great detail describing how ugly Ichabod is. It's like, he's got a hooked nose, and looks like a skeleton, and he's got a forehead that goes on for days. And I feel like it really just roasts the hell out of him. Also, it is making me want to watch the Disney animated short. I love it so much, but I haven't watched it yet this year, which I need to get on because I love it so much. It's also, I think, narrated by Bing Crosby, and like he sings for it as well. So like very quintessential 1940s animation vibes. I love it so much. It's like a part of a special with The Wind in the Willows, but I probably won't watch The Wind in the Willows portion of it because that's not spooky. But I do want to watch like this part of it, so I'll probably do that later today, and I'm kind of excited about that. I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna watch that. Although speaking of watching things, I did also watch another thing the other day because I finally watched The Halloween Tree, and I was a little on the fence about watching it. I think a couple of you guys have recommended it to me, and you've said that you really like it, so I've been meaning to watch it, but I was kind of putting it off. But then the other day I found out the special was narrated by Ray Bradbury, and I thought that was really cool, so I decided to go ahead and watch it, and I really liked it. Like, it was a weird little special. I'm pretty sure it was on Cartoon Network in the early 90s, which I feel like tells you everything you need to know about it, because I feel like anything that I've seen that was on Cartoon Network or like Nick in the early 90s is just weird as hell. And this one was also like a little kooky. But if you don't know, The Halloween Tree is a short, or no, it's not a short story. It's like a I think it's middle grade story by Ray Bradbury. And it's basically following this group of kids who are going out trick-or-treating. It takes place on Halloween night, and they realize one of their friends is missing. And they end up trying to find him, and they go to this like weird house of this guy whose name is Montroud, who is like kind of evil, but he's not like an evil villain necessarily, because he ends up taking them on this whole like quest back through time to talk about the origins of Halloween, basically. Now the kids are dressed up in different costumes, so he like specifically goes to places to point out where the origins of that being a Halloween costume come from, if that makes sense. So like one of the characters was dressed as a mummy, so they went to ancient Egypt. One of them was a monster, so for some reason they visited Notre Dame when it was still being built, and then they proceeded to build it themselves. I don't know. It had something to do with the gargoyles that were on Notre Dame, but I thought that was an interesting part of it, to say the least. But it was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't love the book. I read it a couple years ago. It wasn't my favorite thing, but it definitely does feel very spooky. But I liked the special a lot. I thought it was a good time. It was like an hour and 10 minutes or so. So if you want something perfect for Halloween, I would recommend that. Granted, I have no clue how accurate any of the information in that special is, but for what it is, it's a fun time. It also just has like the perfect early 90s nostalgic Halloween kind of vibe going, because it takes place on Halloween, so you see a bunch of people out trick-or-treating, there are jack-o'-lanterns everywhere, there's a literal Halloween tree full of jack-o'-lanterns, which was very cool, and yeah, I was a big fan. I enjoyed it. So that was the other thing that I got up to the other day. But then, I know, the updates just keep coming. I did finish up The Haunting of Blackwood House, and less exciting update about this one. I feel like I've been so excited about everything, and then we're getting to this one. It's not that it was bad, honestly, because I don't think this was a bad book. I just don't think this was a very good haunted house book, because in no point in time during this book was I scared. There was like one moment in time where the basement door in this house opened on its own. I was like, that's kind of creepy. But like nothing else. Nothing else spooked me. And that's all I wanted from the story. And I know I didn't love everything about The Haunting of Ashburn House, which is the other Darcy Coates book that's like a haunted house book that I've read, but that book had solid build-up in it, okay? Like, it was spooky. I was definitely scared while I was reading it. There were moments where I felt fear for our main character. But this one had like no build-up, no ambiance, no vibes. So I am a little bit disappointed about it. Although I must say, I do kind of like how everything started to get resolved, because it kind of made our main character Mara rethink the way that she's been acting and kind of reconcile with her past and move on from it and kind of embrace it in a way. So I thought that was a cool way to kind of do things and like wrap up the plot. But aside from that, I didn't love it. And I spent the majority of this book being irritated with Mara. So do with that what you will. However, this is certainly not going to stop me from reading more Darcy Coates haunted house books. I feel like this maybe just wasn't the right one for me, but I definitely want to read more. I mean, I'm also still in the middle of the Gravekeeper series, which I'm really enjoying. So I think there are just a lot of other Darcy Coates books that would be more my speed. Today I'm definitely going to be getting into A Dark and Secret Magic by Wallace Kinney, which I am so excited about, because I just think this is going to be the perfect read for like a week before Halloween, because it is currently exactly a week before Halloween, and literally the very first sentence of this book, Let me get to it. It says, the liminal era begins a week before Halloween. It's my favorite time of year when half the trees are barren and others burst with leaves to the color of glowing fire coals. Like, that is what I am experiencing right now. I love it. Big fan. First sentence, I'm already a big fan. So that's kind of my only plan for today, is to read more of this. I also saw something fun on Pinterest the other day that I definitely want to try out. I'm gonna do some cooking, which is something I've not done on the channel yet. It's not real cooking though, because I'm making grilled cheese. But I saw someone make a jack-o'-lantern grilled cheese, and I decided I want to do that. So I'm gonna do that later today too. So those are kind of my plans for this fine Thursday in late October. So I'm gonna get into reading, cooking, I don't know, we'll see. So it is now Saturday morning. I'm here with a couple of updates because I have been doing some reading. I also found a really fun little Halloween decoration in my parents' attic that I'm quite excited about, that I wanted to share because this is a Halloween video, so why not? We'll start with this because I think I'm the most excited about this. But me and my mom were up in our attic the other day looking for like my parents' Halloween decorations. They don't have a lot, but they do have some fun things, and I found this box that was labeled Halloween tree, and I was like, whatever this is, it's mine now. And I think it's so cute. I don't know if I'll be able to get this in, oh no, I can definitely get it in frame, but like, I love it. It's literally just like a little tree filled with blown glass Halloween ornaments, which I'm obsessed with. I mean, first of all, look at this base. Isn't that so cute? Like, I would honestly just use this as a decoration on its own, but the tree does like go into it. And there are some little decorations. Some of them a little ugly, I can't lie, but some of them are very cute. Like this one is my favorite. He's adorable. And I think these were sold at Joann's in like 2001, it says on one of these tags. So, little, I was about to call it vintage. I don't think it's vintage, but well, I think things over 20 years old are considered vintage, but it feels wrong to say it's vintage. But then there's also this little cat ornament as well, which I thought was quite cute. The others are a little funky looking, so we'll leave them on the tree. But yeah, I was just very excited about that because I now have a new Halloween decoration. And I feel like I now need to go on a hunt for some like blown glass Halloween decorations. I feel like I saw some at Home Goods like a long time ago, like a couple months ago. Whether or not they'll still have them, I don't know. But like truly, what is the market for Halloween like ornaments, you know? I don't know. Anyway, so maybe I should go check out Home Goods before Halloween is over. We'll see. Anyway, that update aside, I do have a reading update for you guys because I have been reading A Dark and Secret Magic and I have been making quite a bit of progress in it. I'm currently on page 204. We are one day until Halloween. I wanted to give you an update before I was this far to the book, but alas, I did not. Anyway, I can give you an update now because I am truly, truly enjoying this. I'm having such a fun time so far. I don't know if it's gonna be a 5-star or not. I definitely need to see how these last 100 or so pages go, but like, this is the book for people that love Halloween. Like, if you love fall, maybe, but if you are a Halloween person, you should pick up this book because I have been loving this so far because the Halloween vibes in it are absolutely immaculate while still being able to like progress the plot in a very satisfying way. There's also a bit of a romance. I'm getting ahead of myself. I really am. Anyway, let's talk about it. So to give you an idea of what this book is about, basically we're following our main character, Hecate. She goes by Kate, but her full name is Hecate, which is like so sick, I can't lie. But this book opens up on her having this dream of one of the older women that is in their coven, and this woman comes to her in like a wraith-like state, and she's like, you need to find your mother's book of magic to figure out the answer to a lot of questions that you have, basically. So she wakes up, she doesn't really think much of it, but then she finds out that that person that came to her in that dream dies the next day. So clearly this is a thing that she maybe should be paying a little bit of attention to. And we also find out that like the main question that our main character has is that, okay, in this world, as a witch, you kind of like declare a certain type of witchcraft that you are going to be studying when you turn 13, I believe. So for example, there are things like time witches, sea witches, meta, magic witches, all these kinds of things, which I think is a really cool concept that I've never seen done before in a witchy kind of book. Especially like going throughout the book and getting to meet all of these different kind of witches, I've really enjoyed because they each like specialize in these certain things and they can like do them really well, which is really sick. And this is typically a very personal choice that you make as a witch, but not for our main character because our main character's mother basically said from the day she was born that she was going to be a hedge witch, and Kate has no idea why. So when she gets this visit from this woman and the woman's like, all of your questions will be answered, obviously she's like, all right, maybe I should like look into this. So we're kind of following her as she is figuring out what exactly all of that means, but at the same time we have a couple of other things going on. The first one being that this guy who is from kind of a, I don't know if I'd call them rivals, but like these two covens, they don't like each other, and like he's from the other coven, you know, and they met 10 years ago and they kind of hit it off a little bit, but that was before they found out that they weren't supposed to like each other really. So he kind of comes back into her life 10 years later, and because she's a hedge witch, she has to offer him sanctuary if he doesn't have anywhere to go, basically. So he is now like staying in her cottage. Obviously they're kind of at odds at first, although I can't lie, the romance moves like very fast. I feel like, you know, 1 second she was like, oh my god, I don't trust him at all, like he's from the other coven, I don't like him. And then like 5 minutes later she was like, wait, but he's kind of hot. Which I respect it, I really do. But I do think the romance just like moved so fast. Like I'm on page 200 and I'm like, how do we get here? I don't know. I'm not that mad about it though, like I don't really care. But there is like the whole romancy subplot going on. But then also Halloween or Samhain is currently approaching. As I said, right now we're like one day until Halloween, and the witches do a bunch of like festivities for Samhain. Also our main character Kate is going to go through something called the containment, which is where when a witch turns 31 she like fully declares her power and she like can't do the other types of magic really. So we're kind of seeing as she is like gearing up for that, she also has to like plan all of these festivities for Samhain. Like it's kind of fallen to her to like set things up for all of the other witches in the coven. So we've been following her as she is like setting up all of these things. I mean, in the last like 50 or so pages I read, her and this guy went to the pumpkin patch because they needed to pick up 31 pumpkins that needed to be carved, and somehow they ended up partaking in a pumpkin carving contest. But that was really fun, and there was like an actual reason as to why she had to participate in the pumpkin carving contest. It wasn't just like thrown in there for vibes, which I liked. Although the vibes are there in this book, I must say. Like, it is the most Halloween-centric, fall appreciating kind of book you could honestly ever read. It's also just incredibly cozy, while at the same time still having like decently high stakes, which I really like. I feel like one of my main issues with cozy fantasy as a concept is the fact that it doesn't have stakes, because I find that to be incredibly boring. But I feel like this book almost still kind of feels like cozy fantasy while having like these big stakes, because as Halloween is approaching, as Kate is about to lose access to a lot of her other magic, she's kind of learning more and more about what it means to be a hedge witch and why her mother did this, but it's also complicated with a lot of other feelings because her mother did pass away within the last year. So while literally all of this other stuff is going on, she's also dealing still with the grief of her mother passing and how that kind of just, you know, sneaks up on her in everyday life, and I think that's done well too. Despite all of that, like I said, incredibly cozy. I mean, Kate lives in like this stunning cottage. Like there have been many descriptions of this cottage, and it so desperately makes me want to run away and go live in a cottage with my little fireplace, with my little, you know, blankets thrown everywhere, with my cats. You can come with me, Weenie. She's sitting right next to me while I'm filming. Oh. But yes, I'm just really, really loving this book so far. I feel like it's probably not gonna be a 5-star, but it does kind of feel like a book that I would consider rereading every October. Which, like, I don't know if I should say that because I have so many books that I reread every single fall. I'm like, do I need to add like such a long book? I mean, like, it's not that long, but like compared to some of the other ones that I reread, it's pretty long. Should I add such a long book to my yearly rereads? I don't know, but like it has the perfect Halloween autumnal vibes. I think you should be seeing this video a couple days before Halloween. If you are a Halloween lover, if you want a witchy story, if you want something cozy, as of right now, I would highly recommend this book. I mean, I still have 100 pages to go, so who knows, but right now, it's like quintessential Halloween, which I'm absolutely loving because I honestly think I'm more of a Halloween person than I am a fall person, which is saying a lot because I'm a big fall person, you know? But I do just love Halloween so dearly, so, you know, this is kind of the perfect book. But yeah, I mean, I've even been tabbing it. I haven't been annotating it because I just didn't want to, but I've been tabbing it with like the Halloween, witchy, and autumnal moments because there are so many of them. Like, it's just so good so far. So yes, plan for today. I'm gonna read some of this. I'm also going to make some cookies tonight. Not from scratch, certainly not from scratch. But I do just have the classic Pillsbury, you know, like printed Halloween cookies. I've literally had them for like 2 months. They've just been in my freezer. I bought them early because they do sell out, which I was not gonna be dealing with. So I bought those and then like some other fun Halloween, like pre-made cookie dough things that I found. So I'm gonna make those tonight. And it's just gonna be a really nice way to end off the video. So I'm gonna go get into some reading and I will see you guys tonight. Hello, hello. The midnight hour is currently not close at hand because it's 9:30 and I don't want to stay up late enough for it to get to the midnight hour, but I'm here to end the vlog, do a final candlelit update, because we have things to chat about, okay? So first of all, I want to talk about the most exciting thing that I did today, which I did not show you it all, but I want to talk about it because it was so cool. I think I mentioned it earlier in the video. I went on a tour of that Victorian mansion that I visited earlier in the vlog. I've been wanting to go inside this place for years now, and they do spooky, macabre tours in the lead up to Halloween, so I went on one tonight and it was so good. I loved it so much. It goes through the first and second floor of the mansion, and it talks about all of these like Victorian death customs, and it talks a little bit about the history of the house. It also talks about some ghost stories and such, and it was so cool. Like, I knew about some of the things they were talking about because I do read quite a lot of books that take place in the kind of Victorian era. Obviously those are like fictional, but like they do pull from things that actually happened in Victorian times, but kind of getting this like wealth of information. Like, this is honestly everything I could have wanted from a spooky tour of my favorite spooky house. And they do Christmas tours, which I'm so excited about, and I think I'm gonna go to one of those as well. But I want to do something fun because at the end of the tour, if I could grab it, they handed out these Victorian funeral cookies. And I love this because on the back it says, "Tomorrow is promised to no one." Just a lovely little reminder for you. It's like, hey, you're gonna die one day, but like, look at this cute little wrapped up thing. But I wanted to do a little taste test before I end this video because they did say that like they used a recipe from Victorian times. So I wanna try it. I don't know if it's gonna be any good. I do have a drink here in case it's not good. So let us open it. Little nice design on the cookie. I don't think I've ever had anything with cardamom in it, so quite interested to see how it tastes. I mean, I hear them talk about cardamom all the time on the Great British Baking Show, but I've never actually had it. Ooh, it actually smells pretty good. Ooh, it feels quite short. Got like caraway seeds in it too. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite thing, but I like it. It's kind of like a mild snickerdoodle kind of taste to it, but I give it like a 7 out of 10. So that was kind of fun that they handed those out at the end of the tour. Also, you guys are kind of going to be aghast because I do not have Diet Coke in this cup. But like my second favorite soda type drink, I don't drink a lot of soda, but like the only other soda I drink is Diet Sprite because it's so good. Especially if you go to Sonic and get cherry in it. Ooh, it just hits the spot. Anyway, enough yammering on about that because I do need to start wrapping up this vlog because I have read all of the books that well, almost all the books that I wanted to in this video. First of all, let's talk about A Dark and Secret Magic because I did finish this up this afternoon, and here's the thing with this book. I loved so much of it. Like, it was so good. There was a little Halloween parade in this segment that I read this afternoon, and it was so fun. Like, my city does a Halloween parade that I used to go to every year, and it was so quaint, so lovely. And like, that was all well and good. I love, as I said before, I just loved the Halloween vibes. I loved the atmosphere. It was, that part was top tier. But my main problem with this book comes in at the romance. Like, I know I said earlier that it didn't bother me that they were saying that they loved each other after like knowing each other for like 4 days. And I know they had like their very, very brief stint back 10 years ago. I'm talking like a couple days they knew each other 10 years ago. And then like 200 pages in this book, they were saying, "I love you." I was like, guys, what are we doing? I feel like I've had so many issues with insta-love in the books that I've been reading this year. And I don't know if I've just been reading a lot of books with a more insta-lovey type romance to them, or if I'm just being more nitpicky than I usually am with my romances. But I feel like in all of these books, these people have like been acquainted for like a week, and they're like, "Oh my god, I love you." I'm like, how can you possibly say that to somebody? This is gonna burn out. This really is. I'm gonna just let it go for however long it wants to. But I'm like, how can you say that to somebody that you've known for a week? It just really takes me out of the story. Like, every time, all right, I'm giving up on that. And I try to not let it affect my enjoyment of the book because I'm like, all right, it's a book. It's fictional. Like, it's not actually happening. I have another candle right here. I'm gonna try and light it. It's more of a not a holdable candle, but now I feel like it's too dark. But whatever. That's like really my one complaint with this book, is that they were feeling some type of way about each other after knowing each other for like 6 days. But it's fine, because the rest of the book was really good. Like, I enjoyed the plot for the most part. I feel like towards the end I was a little bit less interested in the whole like plot aspect to it. But really, the thing that I loved the most about this book was, I'm gonna say it again, the Halloween ambiance. Guys, I'm sorry, but like, it's so good. Like, it really is. Like, if you're watching this video on the day that I'm posting it, you should have ample time before Halloween to maybe check this book out, like maybe pick it up, read it on ebook, I don't know, because it has, oh, just the perfect I won't say it anymore, I'm sorry. Almost a 5-star. Honestly, if the romance hadn't been so like intense after like 6 days, I would have given this book a 5-star. But for that reason, I feel like I can't in good conscience give it 5 stars. But it was really, really good. And I could definitely see myself like rereading this in years to come because it may be the most Halloween-y book I've ever read. And I love that. So it was kind of the perfect pick for like right now. So yes, this is the last book that I'm reading for this vlog. I think I've finished 4 books in this vlog, which I'm very happy about. But I did also read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I finished this one up like the last 6 pages or so. And obviously I love this one. Again, super Halloween-y, super autumnal. You should check it out. I also read The Haunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates. This one, not my favorite. It just was not my favorite. But in better news, I read Slewfoot. And I really, really loved it. Like, honestly, I don't know if I liked this one or Dark and Secret Magic more. I'm kind of thinking I liked this one more just because it was so, like such a satisfying book. So satisfying. So those are the 4 books that I finished in this vlog. I unfortunately did not read a lot of Trick or Treat: A History of Halloween, but I still have time before Halloween, so I do want to read some of this just on my own time, and I'm planning to do that, so that'll be really nice. But yeah, I feel like I got to some really good books, especially really good books for Halloween in this video, so I've just had such a fun time filming this vlog over the last week for you guys. I really hope you guys liked it as well, and I hope you're having a lovely October so far. If you're watching this in the week that I'm posting it, I also hope you're having a spooky Halloween week as well. Obviously, I am quite sad that this is going to be the last video that I post in October, the best month of the year. Guys, I'm not crying, you are. I can't believe she's almost done. I mean, I still have like 5 days until the end of the month, which I have many, many plans for. Very chill plans. I'm gonna play some Animal Crossing. I'm gonna watch some spooky stuff. I want to read some spooky books. It's gonna be just a very nice, like, chill time. I feel like October, even though it's very fun, it's always very busy. So I'm very happy that I have kind of the next week or so with nothing to do. Hopefully it'll be a very spooky, very fun week for me. Even though I'm sad October is over, I still love November and December, and I also love making content for November and December. I just feel like it's very chill, very cozy. I can definitely get into it. I do love Christmas as well. It pales in comparison to Halloween, in my opinion. But I'm very excited for the videos that I'm gonna post at the end of the year too. I just love like the last 3 months of the year. They're so good. Also, before we go, I would again like to thank you guys so much for 100,000 subscribers. I still truly cannot believe that that happened. And so many of you guys have congratulated me, and so many of you are also very excited, which I'm honestly just so touched that you guys are also so excited about it. So thank you just again. Thank you so much. Also, before we go, I would like to thank everybody over on my Patreon. If you are ever looking for more content from me, that is always linked down below. I did recently post a very fun, spooky video that I'm very happy with, so if you want more Halloween content, you can always check that out. But with all of that said, I think I'm gonna go. Wait, now I'm sad. But yes, I'm gonna let you go. I've had such an amazing fall season, and it is not stopping here. Just the Halloween stuff, unfortunately, is stopping. But I'm fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, I'm actually gonna go. I hope you all are having an amazing Monday or whatever day it is you are watching this video. I also hope you all have a lovely Halloween. If you're doing anything fun, I would love to know down below what your plans for the week are. If you guys want to know my plans, I know I just keep talking, but my plans for the day of Halloween, I'm gonna get some 50-cent corn dogs from Sonic. I'm gonna watch Hocus Pocus. We're gonna make buffalo chicken dip. I'm probably gonna go for a little drive through a graveyard, something spooky. I don't know, but I would love to know if you guys have anything fun that you do on Halloween. No more yammering, no more chatting. I'm gonna go. Have a spooky week. Bye.